Okay. A few quick adjustments. All right, let's go ahead and get started. This should be a short and right to the point, but very informative. There's a lot of great stuff this time of year that you get down to the kind of things that I don't think that counselors really cover, but they just can only do so much. God bless them. But I have some things I think that will really help you here. Same thing as always, just go and just ask questions out as you need to, or put them in the chat. We'll see them. Let's see what I have here today. I got Bailey Salisbury here. Say hi, Bailey.
Hello.
She's going to make sure if I have any action items I do them. Quinn, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
She's kind of like the producer. And then our, our certified college expert. I'm kind of ghetto certified. She's school certified. It's Brianna Bennett. You all will get to know her more later this year in your preparations to go on the campus. I'm going to rely on her a lot to talk to you about campus culture and things that will help. She's pretty close to that. I think you'll like that. All right, so here we are at what I will call our 14th meeting. It's a lot of them have been virtual and live type drops, but I think we're around meeting 14, January 15th. And let's go right to the point and start with 3 possibilities for the admission decision. What are the 3 possibilities? Well, you could be admitted, talk about that in a minute. You could be rejected or denied admission, or you could be put on the wait list. In the case of admission, you'll see in a moment, you'll need to make your decision by May 1st. I'll tell you what our data is really quick, but no need to rush. Get all the information and data that you need to make the decisions. Somebody said, well, I got the school that I wanted, so I'm ready to go, but you probably need to get the information on the other schools, because after all, you had them on your list for a reason. So this is why you want to wait as long as you can without compromising yourself. Let's see here. What does admitted mean? That's a good question. What does it mean to be admitted? Okay. For all schools, by May 1st, you must deposit for admissions to hold your spot for enrollment. So being admitted is one thing, but then holding the spot is another. For CSU, accepting admission will allow you to get housing information and is not binding until you make that deposit. Some people think that because they picked housing, they're in, and then they find out they don't have a spot. Because I don't think that a lot of these selective CSUs, if you don't deposit on time, a lot of them will just close down the deposit site and you miss a chance at going. We'll talk more about deposits this session and our next one. For UC-CSU, you get the thing called conditional admission. What does it mean? What means that provided you don't have any D's or F's or any significant reduction in your GPA, you'll be able to deposit and enroll to the school. And if you deposit, doesn't mean you're in, because if you have bad grades, they could withdraw admission. So every admission is conditional. This is why people talk about senioritis sometimes. I just remind you, if you're having trouble with some key subjects, and the subjects I didn't put up here this year, but the subjects that have stopped students in the past is if they're taking that 3rd year math and they get a D or an F, it will definitely shut things down and you can't go to 4-year school. English class is another one. Sometimes government, if you failed a history class earlier. These are things that I classically see that shut down enrollment. The next step is enrollment, which includes the deposit for housing, registering for orientation, and registration for classes. What does rejection mean? It means that you were not accepted to the freshman class of the school for the fall 2023, the spring 2024 year. A student can ask about appeal, but here's the thing on appeals. Those are always approved later, and only that you want them to consider for second consideration. Oftentimes, judges won't even look at it if there's nothing new being considered. like things that are appealed to the Supreme Court are not always heard by the court even. And then sometimes they're just given the same. I say here, except HBCUs at times. I just noticed my internet connection is unstable because of the rain. I hope that doesn't affect this. So HBCUs, sometimes you can appeal and they'll get back to you, but let's go on and see what that means. However, as with any appeal, there are three problems. Waitlisted students will be reviewed first if there are waitlist students, and almost always there are. So by the time they get to you, it's going to be really late, typically June. Students who can prove that there is something wrong in the review will be looked at before appeals for other reasons. So if there's something wrong with their review or your information, sometimes they'll peek at it really quick, a little quicker. But if you're just appealing because you're upset you didn't get in, well, that's probably, don't bank on it. Definitely deposit for other schools because they probably will get back to you so late that other appeal students will not get grant aid if they're admitted, since the budget is deleted and time is expended for the appeal. That's what I'm trying to say there. I got to reword that. So in other words, the money's been given out to every other student. And then now they're going to consider your appeal. So you'll get in, but there's no money. That happens with HBCU a lot. And people really want to go to an HBCU and they appeal and then they let them know in July or August. But it's pretty much cash and carry. You got to pretty much pay cash to get in quickly pay the cash to get in. That means loans and things like that. What does waitlist mean? The college, this is very important. I've never seen this really written anywhere, but again, this is kind of like from my experience. The college or university believes a student can succeed on the campus, but the campus does not have the budget or resources to offer admissions. Some schools will place some of these students on a wait list. But I don't want you to wait for the wait list, is what I'm talking about now. Many times, usually in 30 to 45 days after May 1st, the college will return to their wait list. So you could be sitting out there in June, middle of June. I want you to already have deposited somewhere. Funding will be greatly reduced or non-existent, just like in the case of an appeal. Please deposit with another school. The school will not wait for you. It won't go, well, we understand you're waitlisted somewhere else, so we'll wait. No, their deadlines are going to continue on. Their May 1st deadline and et cetera, their housing deadlines will still be enforced. So don't feel like on waitlist, you could still really wait. I think you should make sure you're in somewhere else. Okay, if there's any questions, let me know. What if I do not get into the college I really want? All right, I got some students here, so maybe they'll hear it. Take some time to work through it, but life needs to go on. What a great life lesson. We adults know we don't get everything we want, and there are disappointments in life. I was just telling, so I think it was my wife, I've had like 7 major disappointments in my life. Major. Not to mention the sad things that have occurred, but we all have these things. I'm just talking about disappointments. I wanted something really bad and I didn't get it. These things happen in life, Take some time to work through it. I see your question there, Nikhil. I'll get right to it. So life needs to go on. Review the other schools to which you are or will be accepted. Time to move to your other schools, to your other list. It's a good time to think about your career because sometimes you pick the school because of a certain major there, or it's a good time to think about your career. Are you tying in the major too much with your career? What do you really want out of life? It's a good time to think about that. Rejection is a great time. A lot of times during a rejection period for anything, I find that I can learn the most. It's a good time to understand that success in life is often 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. Progress is sometimes that way. All right, the question was, I believe, should I deposit to my top colleges? You could, it's a free country, but I always ask, and I think I covered on later view graphs, I'll cover it now. If you deposit to multiple schools, where will you stop? I mean, you deposit early, will you do all the deposits? Remember, you have till May 1st, so I don't see a tremendous urgency to do that. Now, schools might lie and say you have to do it now. I know Grand Canyon will bribe you. They'll give you an extra $4,000 if you go ahead and deposit for admission. But these are decisions you'll have to make, but I think waiting closer to May 1st is best. I'll have more to say about that later. What about two-year college? Just remember there are two uses for two-year college, okay? Credit recovery or enhancement while you're at a four-year college, okay? And you should start this summer enhancing and getting credits early. We'll have a lot to say about that on a view graph coming up next. It could be an alternative to the first year or 2 years of college. Sometimes you start not getting into the school you want, you realize that you could transfer into it. Hey, the minute that someone says to me, oh no, I'm sorry, I really don't want to go now, then I realize that there's another school for them. If you really want to go to school, you'll actually consider the 1 or 2 years. LA Trade Tech College is one we like for teaching and mentorship. It's very job oriented too. As you know, I like to develop job skills while you're in college. El Camino College has a program called Project Success. I hope to interview them really soon for my site. I'm going to get in there and interview Brian for our website, for our YouTube page very, very soon. So I want you to learn all about that. I already interviewed Charles Drew University and one other school, but I'm going to interview him so you can know more about that program. Let's talk about how you can use the 2-year college for enhancement to make the 4-year college experience shorter or better or more effective. Here we go. Here's an assured college completion in 4 plan using the 2-year college. This summer, you can take 2 classes. And I'm going to help you with that. I have a great idea for online classes this summer from our partner, Trade Tech. 6 credits in the summer means about 2 classes. And let's help you pick the classes. I mean, pick classes that are going to be not as challenging, but will be college credit. That's what a lot of GE classes are anyway, general ed. In the fall, you take your 14. We recommend you take 14 to 16 credits. Don't do 12 credits and play it safe. You'll be in college forever. 14 to 16 credits keeps you jumping, keeps you rolling, keeps things interesting. You know, it helps you to fill in your blank time. 14 credits is what we're recommending. Some courses of study like engineering, you're going to get more than 14. Computer science, things like that. Each summer you take the 6. This is for what's going to happen your freshman year, 2023-24. Here's 2022-23. You have summer, you have 6 credits. And then in regular school year next year coming up in the fall, the next summer, 24, you take 6 credits. 24-25, I should have had my board hooked up so I could write on it. Perhaps I will do that. There's no law against that, so I will. All right. Alrighty. Just a moment. So 2023-24, how about a different color? All right. So there's 2023-24. I just did, I believe. Alrighty. Just one moment. Sorry for the delay, a little tech problem here. There we go. So 23-24 is here, and you can see during the year you take 14, in the summer 6 credits. And 2024-25, okay, you do the same thing. That summer you take 6 credits again. And you can see down here I have the total credits, but the bottom line is more important. You see those cumulative credits are building up as you go along here. Typically, it takes about 122 credits to graduate. But this plan, as you can see, will take you to 136 credits. She may be able to get a minor in with this plan, right? So in 3.5 years, you could be finished. You'll save a half a year. Engineering students, however, will be typically 140 to 145 credits. Okay, that's a completion in 4 plan. All right. Let's go to the next view graph. Okay. Here's a completion in 3 plan here. You want to complete in 3 years, there you go. Here you're noticing this 3 plan, you're taking 16 credits, right? Move my in here back. There it is. You're going to do 6 credits in the summer, 9 in the second summer, and 9 in the third, and back to 6 in the summer. And you're going to take 16, 16, 16, and look at this. You'll finish college in 3 years. The 120 credits if it's 120 credits. Again, their first year is here, second year, third year. Okay. So 2-year college is a pretty important part of your plan for finishing college early. I really want you to highly consider that. Okay. Let's see about any questions we have here. Okay. Let's go on. Here's Trade Tech College's online class schedule for spring 2023. You can see there's American Sign Language, Art 103, Art Appreciation. These are all types of classes, Intro to Business. These are all UC, CSU transferable, which means they're transferable to just about every college in the country. You can get these. Some of them are asynchronous, some of them are synchronous. There's a couple of them that are in person. Intro to Robotics, and these are in person. But a lot of them are online, okay? So I want you to check this out as one option for you. And you can use some other 2-year college if you like. These are just our partners, and we know the teachers that are teaching these core classes are friendly to our students in our program. They work with high school students. They're used to doing that, and therefore the students in our program. I think they'll find it a good way to transition to learning how to deal with college instructors. Let's talk about admission acceptance a little more. It's required by May 1st. We recommend April 15th, okay? April 15th is our recommendation to get that done by. 25th for all schools, 15th for some schools. You know, at schools where the housing is not as plenteous, we'll talk about that next week or next meeting. I'd recommend an early decision on the depositing to answer that question further. But for most schools, you can wait till the 25th. Don't wait till the 1st on that same day. Typically, the servers are loaded and jammed, and you could get Z'd out of the process. For many schools, it's required to get housing information. In order to get housing information, in order to get your housing information, you have to deposit for acceptance. For nearly all schools, a deposit is also required by May 1st with no exceptions. Remember, financial aid will not cover this deposit. It's non-refundable, and they range from $0 to $900. I'll explain it now. That's because some schools like Sonoma State, George Washington, and others make the housing deposit, they require you to make your housing deposit at the same time that you do your admission deposit. Sometimes the orientation deposit is included. They want to make sure you get all those done at the same time, so it's one deposit. Now, if students have a Pell Grant, they'll get a smaller deposit, which is a good reason to get that FAFSA in as soon as possible if you haven't. You know you're going to have a Pell Grant. None of these deposits is covered by financial aid, however. It's not like financial aid is going to come in and pay these. Somebody said, well, will they deduct it from my bill? Yes. I mean, it goes into your account, against your account, these payments. Other early enrollment requirements, new student orientation, parent orientation, they're required. There's usually a cost to make you pay for orientation for the parent orientation. Factor that in with your travel to college, which is, of course, not covered by financial aid. So there's going to be costs before you get financial aid. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Enrollment process errors that I've seen, that I see every year, particularly from people who don't get this presentation, right? Or don't see it on video. Depositing for a school without knowing the cost of the school. Learn how to read and interpret the financial aid award. I'll do a quick review on that today for those who missed it. Very quick review at the end. You're not visiting the college that you end up attending. I see this countlessly. Saw a lot during the pandemic. A lot of my students, I would say about 30% of my students who attended schools without visiting, because during the pandemic they couldn't visit, they're back home. A whole bunch of them came back home. Because there's something about it, the human mind and the human psyche and soul, I guess. You don't buy into things that you feel that you've seen it before. So the first sign of adversity, students will just give up and come home, or they'll just stay home after the first year. And again, a lot of things they experienced during COVID weren't things that normally would have been happening during the school, but that didn't matter. They're back home. Okay. I got about 5 or 6 I'm checking on regularly from that. Unable to complete the FAFSA verification process. I think you should order, it's a good idea to order your federal tax transcript right now in case the school asks for it. There's a lot of technical things I could say about that. You can tell if you're not going to be asked. Like if I filed your FAFSA, I've already told you whether you have to do that or not. But for everybody else, I say order your transcript. It will save you time if verification is requested. Other things to watch for, not watching your CSU portals and email. UC also has portals too. Missing important data requests by the college. You're also missing college acceptances. And the reason that happens, by the way, the reason that happens is because usually when students are applying to CSU, they're thinking about other colleges they really want to go to. And so they miss a data request because they're more concerned about those private schools and other schools. And so then when they find out they can't afford the other school or they don't get in, they pivot to CSU, they've missed a data request, and they've missed a chance to go to the school. So really want to be careful about that. That's why when you have really long college lists, I get nervous you'll miss correspondence from the university. You need to spend every night about an hour looking through your emails, looking at your portals and making sure that you're not missing anything. Please do that. A lot of you here have pretty long college lists. You should be really careful about that. Or if you're seeing this video. Okay, you've never sent your transcripts to your private colleges or out-of-state public universities. This happens when the high school didn't tell you how to send them, or they told you weren't there that day, or they had a third party that you had to request to send it. For some reason, the colleges don't have the transcript. Out-of-state public universities, not CSU and UC, because they don't require the transcript. But this is one that's big too. Never sent your CS profile financial aid to the private college or colleges that require it. You just never sent that in, perhaps. Okay, that's a problem as well. If you're wondering whether that document is required, check with me. There is actually a video on that, how you find out. But sometimes schools are not really telling you that up front, but look at the due dates on it. Some are actually already due, it turns out. USC was due on the 6th. Depositing for more than one school. All right, well, we talked about that earlier. The possibility of depositing to more than one school. Well, she didn't really ask that, but a lot of times people will ask that. Always ask, how far will you go with non-refundable deposits? Will you do the housing deposit, the orientation deposit, to which schools? Will you do all those deposits to 2 sets? Probably not. So really, you should narrow it down to one school. Missing colleges on your FAFSA profile. Inadequate academic performance in a required class during the second semester. We've talked about that when we were talking about provisional acceptance to CSU and UC, I believe is where it came up. All right. Misinterpretation of how the college waitlist actually works. We talked about today already how it actually works, okay? These are some process issues and errors that can come up right about now, so be careful about these. What are some good reasons to attend a particular college? You might laugh at some of these, but they're definitely a factor. Affordable and cost sustainable without debt or with acceptable debt. That's huge. I got something to say about that. Parent and youth agree substantially on the college. I think both need to be in agreement because the parents have to pay and the youth have to like the school. They need to agree substantially. A lot of parents feel, hey, it doesn't matter with me, it's wherever they want to go, but you're actually paying for it. So you have something to say, and I think you should work as a team. I'll be glad to help with decisions. Career path is evident with other options. So don't go to a school unless you see a career path and you have other options maybe. I can help you with that too. Just reach out. The feel of the campus is very acceptable. That's important. So you don't want to attend a school you don't visit because you want to get the feel, the vibe of the campus. And yes, other nice comforts, like say you got 3 schools you like, and one of them has a Chick-fil-A on it, seriously. Or one of them has Division I football and you want to feel campus spirit. These are other nice comforts. If you can get those affordably, then that's an important factor for you. I've seen all kinds of reasons that students have picked certain schools. Remember, psychological and emotional factors. This is a new view graph. It's something I saw last year. Everybody saw it every year, but just noticed it more. Try to rationally evaluate these particular things I'm going to tell you when determining the cost or deciding whether to go to school. Large merit awards from a college usually come in with the admission are flattering and exciting, but how do they compare to the total cost of the school, right? You get a $30,000 scholarship to USC, it sounds exciting, but it's another $49,000 that you owe to go to USC. A $20,000 award to Howard sounds good, but there's going to be another $30,000 you owe for Howard. These things are exciting, but you got to make sure it fits. Also, read the fine print about GPA and how many years. Sometimes you get a really good scholarship, but you have to be 3.5 or 3.2 to keep it. And you might have a great college year at 3.1 and lose your scholarship. And on the other hand, it may be, they'll say $40,000 scholarship, but that's for 4 years. So it's really $10,000 a year. And these colleges are not going to help you to read it. They really want you to feel the excitement of going to their schools. Getting accepted to a selective, well-known college is exciting. But do you have the final financial aid award yet from the school? Still review your other colleges. That's why there are other colleges on your list. By the way, a little note, you can stop applying to colleges now. Let's maybe one last one if you had it due today or whatever, get it out. But that's why I didn't like February 1st and March 1st application due dates. I really think you should be out of that process by now. I think it'd be really good. It's pretty stressful. Use our cost comparison sheet. Everyone who's in this meeting will get an early link. You hear that, Bailey? I'm sure on Probs and Bailey. We had an early link to this cost comparison sheet that I'm going to share with you just now. Hold on for a minute here. I think I can find it. This is really a cool tool if I can find it. I believe I'll be able to. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. How do I do this? I got to do it this way. Yes. I think I can do it over here. Yep, there it is. Here's the sheet right here. Let me show you how it works. It's a tool that I have, and I'm going to share it with everybody here. I've partially filled it in here. It has entries already in it for you. You'll see when you get it. And it's good for 28 colleges. You see there's 28 there. I'm on the first sheet. I have GW filled in, for example, for a student that from last year. And the idea is up here in the top part, you fill in all of your financial aid, right? And I have all the different categories. You fill it in. That tells the total financial aid. Then the tuition and fees are here, right? Housing, the food is here. and the total direct cost is here. Then on the bottom, it computes automatically what your expected first year cost is. You'll need to do this for each year of financial aid awards to really compare them. Why do I do this? Because sometimes people have trouble comparing apples and apples. If you hear a school has a large merit award, you might think it's your best offer, but it is not. That's why this is a good example. Here's a person that got nothing from CSU. This is CSU Poly Pomona. It's going to be $16,000 to go to school there, but GW is actually cheaper, even though a GW costs $69,000 and CSU costs $22,000. And it can be true the other way around too. And I've seen that too, where the CSU is way lower. It's way lower than the private college. It usually is that way. But the only way you can really tell is to use this tool. This is a very effective tool, and people who are in this meeting will get that tool. Bailey, just remind me, and I'll share with you who's here. I have a record of who logged in today. It's all available through Zoom. I have it. Just remind me to send it to you. And you can send them a link to this sheet, and I'll share the sheet with you to do that, okay? All right, any questions on that? That'd really be a helpful thing for you, I think. I definitely want to use it. If you don't want to use it, want to call me, I'll be glad to sit down with you and go through a few of your schools with you using this sheet, okay? Because they're all different, these awards. Here's the front end of the enrollment process. There's admission acceptance. You visit the colleges or college. I guess I suppose there's one college, whatever. Receive the financial aid award. How much is owed for the school? We just talked about that. That sheet will be helpful. And there's a non-refundable deposit plus a housing deposit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see it as 5 steps for the front end of the enrollment. That is a back end too, like, how do you pick your housing? What about meal plans? What about how do I actually, what do I expect in orientation? How do I register for classes? I'm gonna cover all that later, okay? That's the back end of the process. Do I get their insurance? Do I not? These are all back end questions. Here's what we can help though. We can give advocacy assistance with admission for the following colleges: Long Beach, Bakersfield, Seattle Pacific, Sonoma, LMU, GW, University of San Diego, Boise State, Louis Obispo, and Cal State, Los Angeles. We can help with those schools if there's some kind of issue that comes up. You just email Bailey, let us know if your youth is applying to any of these schools. You've already done it with some of them. We're going to email you this week about some of the rest, with the whole list. I think we're ready now. We weren't ready before. And we'll be sending out things to schools. I guess Long Beach will get their list this week later. They've already asked for it, Bakersfield. And I guess we'll go ahead and send the list out to, we already sent to Boise. There's a few more students. So anyway, we're going to be sending those out. That's typically what we do this time of year from now through February 1st. Other timely advice: try not to be overstressed. God is in control. Hallelujah. If you applied to UCCSUs, there's the portals and emails. I remind you again to check those. On many of your private colleges, listen to this: calls by students to check the application status are welcomed and can help with admission. So call the school up and say, hey, is my application file complete? And they'll note that you called. And that's what they really want to know this time of year: who's going to come to the school if we admit them. And they suppose that if you call and check, you will, but you don't have to. I think calling and checking is a smart thing to do. That's another reason that I hope you don't have a list that's too long. Because if it's really long, calling the schools is not practical given your schedule. You're not getting home till a lot of them are closed back east. Parents, please do not call for students. I know that you may be tempted to do that, but the students really need to be involved in that process. It's probably a good idea to check if schools have received the FAFSA, order the student aid report, and review the colleges. Now, I'd say order it, but you can go online and get it. I think I actually have the steps for it in a moment. I'll show those steps too. The college enrollment and financial aid review and award process, just to remind you. The college financial aid office's financial review occurs. They can do financial aid verifications. We're looking at your 2021 federal income tax transcript and forms. That's if they do a verification. Remember, some of you won't have a verification, then they'll give you a financial aid award. Or there could be no review at all. Just a financial aid award. How's that? Or you could have a CSS profile and they'll upload the tax return, can be uploaded into the CS profile with a process called IDOC. If I'm doing your CS profile, I'm handling all that. Don't worry. Okay. I think a couple of you here who I am doing that. And then there's a financial aid award after that's done. Okay. That's the financial aid review and award process. Simple as that. That's what happens. Other important financial aid notes, students watch your portals. Now watch closely for financial aid correspondence in email and portals. So remember, the parents won't see it. They're going to email you, and if you don't tell your parents, they could need something for the financial aid, and they need to know that. Some colleges will withhold the award till after verification if they require verification. Most give a preliminary award first. Most will do that. There'll be a preliminary award first. Remember, if you know your 2021 adjusted gross income, then you can know what CSU will cost. We've covered that the last few sessions, but give me a call and ask me if you need to. You can know beforehand what it's going to be. If I filed your FAFSA, check with me before you start the verification process with the college. Please do not make changes to the FAFSA. Additional advice? Yeah, I told you earlier, call this number and order your tax transcript. I think that'd be a good thing for everyone to do. It will be mailed out in 5 to 7 days. Be sure to order the tax transcript and not the account transcript. Just listen closely to the recording. You file a profile, watch the student's email for additional financial aid requirements. There's the IDOC and the non-custodial parent CSS. Again, if I'm handling your CSS, we're doing that in the next 2 weeks, actually. That's what I'm handling next week. How to print out the FAFSA student aid reports, these are the steps. So if you want to print out the student aid report to know what schools there were, these are the steps for it right here. You can go right through these steps, and if you need my help, let me know. I'll be glad to help you with that. Basically, you have to log into the FAFSA website. How about visiting colleges? Once again, Quinn, you might want to throw the copy of this presentation in the chat again. It's probably good to have. See, I had a couple people come late. I snapped in here. She'll put on there again the PDF file, open it up on your computer and steal it. Or you can always email us after the meeting. We'll be glad to send you a PDF of it. And the video of this presentation will be available on the YouTube channel. You visit the colleges that you will attend, right? You visit colleges that you will not attend, but please do not attend a college that you do not visit. Do not have your student attend a college, or students do not attend a college without a visit. Visit colleges when they're open. Don't just drive by. Visit when they're open and have students and staff present. Don't just go by on a weekend and look at it. You need to be on the campus when it's open, which is another problem with extremely long lists, because you won't know where to visit. Maybe what you're going to do is find out what the ones that are most cost effective. But what if you have 2 or 3 that are? Can you get to all those schools in a really short period of time where your high school allowed will affect your grades? There is a need, if possible, for early narrowing down of your choices, since most students apply for many more colleges than they can visit. See our college visits on our website. We're going to be posting just a couple more. I'm going back to Boise State, and if I get enough people for certain CSUs, I'll go to those too. I may go on up to Bakersfield. I saw there were a few that did that, and I'm looking at other schools too. So let me know if you're interested in that. I'll be posting them on our website under new events. Okay, let's go over again the financial aid definitions. Let's see if there's any questions out there. Okay, Quinn just put on the chat this presentation, the PDF of this presentation. Okay, now the definitions. Getting right through these. What is financial aid? Okay. It's federal student loans or a parent loan for undergraduate students. Now watch how I present this. It's the Pell Grant, work study, institutional need-based grants, institutional academic, athletic, or artistic merit awards. These are free money. And so you should be interested in those for sure. The others are loans. You should consider the student loan mostly, because that's something where students pay something for college. Many will say they got a free ride. In reality, they have loans. What is relevant financial aid? Let's look at the same things again. Notice I've crossed out the parent loan for undergraduate students and the federal work study. You add those all up, you have relevant financial aid, then you can determine whether you want to do the parent loan. Students should not plan to work the first year of college. So look closely at this chart here. It's student loans plus the grants, minus the work study and the parent loan for undergraduate students. Remember the spreadsheet tool I'm giving you, you can do that automatically on there. In case you're interested, here's why federal work study is not relevant financial aid. It's so small, it's more useful as spending money. There's not enough to even go against the bill for the school. It's their spending money. Students can make what, by the way, the hourly rate for work study is below the federal minimum wage. You think the government will make student work study equal to minimum wage, but they don't. Students can make way more for less hours at other campus and slightly off-campus jobs. So they could work somewhere else for more per hour. EEP does not recommend students work their first year. The priority is to meet lots of students the first year. Some will be your future roommates. So remember, the school is not going to assign you a roommate after your first year. You got to find your own. So if you're working, you're not available, and you're not meeting other students, that's a problem. This is why parents, I don't want students to work for part of their tuition like we did. It can't happen. It's just too much money now. It's not practical. They can't afford it. They can work for some spending money, maybe the second semester if they get good grades. I just not cool on them working their first year. Second year or third year, fourth year. Yeah, oh yeah, I want them to work. Summer, I want them to work. More time you can bond with the campus the first year, the more likely you are to finish college. This is a very important view chart, obviously. Other important financial aid definitions. What is direct costs? The college costs that are on the bill are fixed costs. Tuition and mandatory fees are direct costs. Housing and food are part of direct cost. So if it's on the bill, it's a fixed cost. Tuition, housing, room and board. Tuition, housing, and food, they're considered part of direct cost. Health insurance, if you elect, becomes part of it as well. We'll talk about that next time. What is indirect cost of college? Books, travel, spending money, technology, those are all indirect costs. Okay. These are the things that can be paid by scholarships. I'll say a lot more about scholarships next time. I'm actually going to do a video on it too. If you go to, I just dropped a video today about how to use our scholarship section on our website. You might want to take a look at that. I just dropped 2 really great scholarships today, and one that has other scholarships in it, one of the 2. You should go there and look regularly at my website, look at our scholarships. People are sending me scholarships. They feel that we have contact with students, and we do. So you should look at the website under the college process. I'll see if I have time to show you that today. But the video that I just dropped is really great. And you want to go to our YouTube channel and you want to subscribe. Maybe Quinn, you'll put that link up there before I'm done, and I'm almost done here now, for them to go on the YouTube site and subscribe, so that when I drop a video, you'll see it. Other important financial aid definitions. What is EFC of a college? It's expected family contribution. EFC is printed on the upper right corner of the student aid report, which is created by the feds from the FOSSA. And I showed you how you get to that. If you have trouble, get a hold of me. I'll show you how to look at it. What does EFC mean? It is not actually what universities will make you pay. Somebody told me this week, or they called me, I think it was one of my parents, said, oh my goodness, the school says I can pay $30,000. Well, it doesn't mean that you'll owe $30,000. It's not a bill. It's a federal number. It's a federal metric. Colleges can do whatever they want, and they will, based on your students' merit and their rules for money. Like if it's a school like Boise State or Grand Canyon, they don't even care what EFC is. They have their own way of determining what it is. So you can determine it from the financial aid award what you really owe. We just talked about that. Most universities review your EFC, though, to assist them in determining how much need-based grants you get from the federal government. And they could also do it for their own need-based grants if they award them. Many universities do not award need-based grants, though. HBCUs do not do need-based grants. They do the federal Pell Grant, that's all. They only do merit awards. All universities use it to determine how much public aid you receive. That's true. Loans, Pell Grant, work study, Cal Grant, university grants, etc. Those are all considered public aid. Here's other general information about EFC. The lower the EFC, the more need-based aid from the feds, which a student is eligible. However, when the EFC is 0 or under 1,000, the federal student aid plus the state aid will cover 90 to 98% of college costs. This is for CSU and UC. Even when the EFC is 0, most private colleges expect a payment of $9,000 to $18,000 per year, even though your EFC says you can't afford it. HBCU can be up to $35,000, even if your EFC is 0. The exceptions highly depend on your GPA. So if you're 3.1 to 3.3, you can get into any HBCU or any private school, or many private schools that are not HBCUs, but you're going to probably owe a lot of money to go there. Remember, we get the school we earn, not the one we want. For most private colleges, it is mostly to totally ignore the EFC when income is greater than 60,000. So when income is greater than 60,000, they tend to ignore the EFC, and you're going to have a certain amount you're going to owe, period, based on the income of parents. Other important financial aid definitions. What is unmet need of a college? I think I covered this. It's the total cost of a college, which is the direct cost plus the indirect costs. The unmet need is the total cost of the college minus the EFC. I've told you what that was, minus the institutional grants and scholarships. That amount that you still owe is called the unmet need. Very few schools meet or even 80% meet all of the unmet need. There are some that do meet most of the unmet need. There's still some that do. Many schools base their admission decision on how much unmet need exists. Yeah, we call those, that's the whole concept of need blind. Yeah, there are schools that look to see how much unmet need you have before they admit you. The idea being that you need a higher GPA to get into the school if you have greater unmet need. I don't like that, but that's what they do, and it's not against the law. Okay. All right, that's all I had today. Like I said, it's a nice compact session. Are there any questions that you have now that you see what I presented? I'll be glad to answer those now, or if you want to set up something with me later, that'd be fine too. Any questions? Is that thorough enough? Sister Pamela, did that make sense?
All of it made sense to me.
What you tell me is I'm too good at what I do.
Thorough.
Oh, okay. Sister Marie, did you see anything there that you wanted to ask me about? Sister Marie? And who else is here? Sister Bauman's here. Sister, let's see, Vanessa, Sister Vanessa Bauman.
I'm here. It made sense.
Made some sense, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Didn't nothing shocked you, huh?
Oh, it's shocking, but nothing on the discussion.
Call me up and holler at me if I can help.
Okay,
You know you can call me. I'm just a phone call away. You know
thank
that.
you.
I think you got my cell somehow.
And Deacon, thank you for talking about the portal.
Yeah.
Because we've been checking it regularly. And
You learn a lot, huh?
first of all, they're all different.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
You know, how you set them up,
Yes.
how many things for the passwords. So we have a total book keeping track of
Yeah, we've been table. I think.
passwords and crap.
Yeah, if Christina was here, she has a table she sets up when she's tracking for a student.
And
When you have a student that did it for, it's right here. It's taped to my desk.
yeah, and for example, this week we got information from UCLA about you have to apply to their scholarships before you're even accepted.
Oh, they changed that.
Yeah, and a lot of them are due before they send out acceptance notices.
That's crazy, huh?
You're like, okay, so and you have to set up a portal for that.
Yeah, along those lines, you guys, if I need any quick recommendations, Deacon Wilson, I'm here. I've already done about 10 of those things. I see she's at Berkeley made students do community recommendations this year. So 2 students shocked me with that last week. And so I got that done. I try to turn those around very quickly, obviously.
Thank you, Deke.
Okay, good information. Anybody else? All right, there were a number of people that signed up, didn't come. I hope you're seeing me on the video, either on YouTube Live or you're seeing it somewhere. Just get a hold of me if you have any questions at all. We're quite available. Just a little program note. I don't know if a lot of you knew, we've been told we have to move out of the North Campus by March 1st. So we're surveying for sites. We think we have a nice site we saw yesterday. I almost called you, Sister Moore, to use your pool somewhere, but I think I'm gonna be cool. I'll call you if I have a problem.
All right, because we can hustle up something.
Yeah, I know. I got some people that could do that. You're one of them. But I think I found a church location nearby that'll be suitable to our staff. And that's why I postponed some of my staff training to be able to use that site. I like it. So we'll see what happens. And then we'll be in there for 9 months until we move to the Family Life Center behind the cathedral, which we're looking for. That'll be a big community event when it opens. And so, but we're gonna have somewhere to get in person. And I'm gonna do a couple of these meetings in person in North Lakewood or Charles Drew University, and I can then stream them. Some of you might want to come out and holler at me. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Whether y'all like leave me in there by myself, maybe y'all come out. All right, thank you all very much. I can go back to the NFC playoff game about when y'all are ready to go. You don't have to run away though. I figured I missed the first half.
I'm still traumatized. I'm still traumatized over the Chargers yesterday. So
Don't talk about that.
It'll take me a minute, okay?
I'm having PTSD. I am having PTSD about that. I was thinking, well, the Rams didn't get in, but I still got the Chargers. I can act like I'm a Charger fan. And they were leading like 27-0 and lost. Oh my Lord. All right, some things are just not meant to be. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you. Get a hold of me if you need me. Like I said, I'm pretty underutilized right now, but I'm doing stuff. Sonoma State trip, yes. I'm glad you mentioned that, Aaron. I am looking at another Sonoma State trip. We will advertise it very shortly. And we had a great trip up there a few weeks ago. It was really nice. It was great getting back up there again. Such a beautiful school. But we're going to go up again, Aaron, so hang on, okay? All right. Sister Marie, thanks for the feedback. You watched YouTube the other day. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing that. We got a lot of good stuff planned for YouTube this year, interviews and all kind of stuff we got planned for it, okay? So definitely want to subscribe and do that. Yes, Aaron, let her know. We're going to do that. And you got to remind me, Bailey, okay? I don't know, Bailey. So, Bailey, remind me to set up a Sonoma State trip, would you?
Okay.
I do want to do that. I do. They called me and they want us to come back. And I want to set it up. I know there are people that got in Sonoma that missed that trip. Okay? We'll
Okay,
try to
thank
do
you so much.
Yeah, we'll try to do it really affordably too. All right, God bless you all. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Happy New Year if I didn't see you.